2025年7月9日 Brandon Becks 牧師喺 YouTube 發佈影片，為主在禱告中啟示我們的事禱告，分享咗一段已故先知 Kim Clement 多年前嘅預言錄音。預言內容提到伊朗密謀炸毀美國一啲教會，但呢個計劃會因為伊朗與北韓反目而中斷，最終告吹。以下係影片內容。
Can you all hear it if I play it?
And yet Iran shall get an idea, and they shall say, let us blast and destroy the God that they worship, or this the place that they worship. And when they do that, they shall get another idea. Let us turn towards the United States of America. Shall we destroy them? Shall we blow them up? But God said, because of my saints, and because of the saints of the Most High God, they shall not. For suddenly North Korea shall rise up, and they shall begin to get angry with Iran, and there shall be a fight that shall go on between North Korea and Iran, and God said they shall begin to implode from within. Therefore, hear me today from this den. I am speaking, says the Lord. You shall be kept safe because of me, says the Spirit of God.
2025年7月11日 Brandon Becks 牧師發佈咗另一則影片，標題為《天氣怎麼了》。影片中提到以色列與中東回教國家將會簽署嘅和平條約，以及計劃興建第3所聖殿。Brandon Becks 牧師早前曾預言7月嘅滿月期間，即美國時間7月10日，以色列大規模攻擊哈馬斯，將會促成和談。事實亦如佢所預言，喺7月7日至7月9日期間，以色列持續對加沙地帶發動軍事行動。7月8日，以色列加強咗對加沙北部地區嘅致命襲擊，引發起爆炸與軍事衝突，並造成多名士兵傷亡。7月9日，根據加沙衛生部門嘅報告，以色列軍隊嘅持續炮擊喺過去24小時內已導致超過100人死亡，500多人受傷。結果正正就係7月10日喺美國嘅調停下，以巴雙方進行咗停火談判。Brandon Becks 牧師指出，呢次和平談判正係但以理書所預言以色列與敵基督簽署和平條約嘅開始。以色列為咗所謂嘅和平，以及能喺聖殿山建造第3所聖殿，將會接受美國嘅建議，分裂耶路撒冷，但此舉卻會導致美國一分為二。以下係影片內容。
So we're seeing it. It's the time frame of the full moon. Yes, it didn't happen on the full moon, which is on the 10th, but it was the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And the Lord said, watch this time frame. And I thought, Lord, oh, what a plan. Oh, what a planner. Just like Sister Billy always says. We're right there, folks. Something major is happening this week. As the full moon, just like he told me, watch this time frame. Benjamin Netanyahu comes, boom, boom, boom. 3 days, he's here. Then we see all this about a peace accord. And the Lord's warning me about a peace accord. The Lord's warning me about escalation with Russia. And he shows me all these things of Cuba. And, you just watch these videos of the things that I've gotten out of prayer and what he keeps warning us over and over and over. Time frames to pray. September, from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. An acceleration of things. So I just want you to know, yeah, it's not the 10th, but it's the week. Look at what happened significantly this week in the White House. A foundation is being laid for a peace accord, for a covenant of many. I believe that's what we're about to see. Peace agreements, and negotiations of building the third temple. When I told you if they split Jerusalem, he said he would split America down the New Madrid. I saw the Mississippi River being completely decimated.
喺影片中 Brandon Becks 牧師提到，我哋應該為今年9月21日禱告，因為呢個日子關係到以色列與敵基督簽署和平條約。喺校對呢一段精華短片嘅時候，日華牧師補充 ，Brandon Becks 牧師提及嘅和平條約就係但以理書所預言嘅內容。當教會被提之後，世界將進入最後嘅7年，一般釋經家稱之為7年大災難。喺呢7年嘅開始，聖經預言以色列將會與敵基督簽訂和平條約。但以理書9章24至27節， 為你本國之民和你聖城已經定了70個7，要指住罪過，除淨罪惡，赦盡罪孽，引進永義，封住異象和預言，並高至聖者。你當知道，當明白，從出令重新建造耶路撒冷，直到有受膏君的時候，必有7個7和62個7。正在艱難的時候，耶路撒冷城連街帶號都必重新建造。過了62個7，那受膏者必被剪除，一無所有。必有一王的民來毀滅這城和聖所，至終必如洪水沖沒。必有爭戰，一直到底。荒涼的事已經定了。17之內，他必與許多人堅定盟約。17之半，他必使祭祀與供獻止息。那行毀壞可憎的如飛而來，並且有憤怒傾在那行毀壞的身上，直到所定的結局。因此，我哋而家所身處嘅時空，已極為接近呢個和平條約簽署嘅時間點，亦就係非常接近被提同埋世界末日嘅時刻。以下係2025年7月25日日華牧師嘅錄音補充。
其實如果引用但以理書呢，就已經係貼住7年大災難，就係 exactly 嗰件事啊。所以佢而家直情講緊和平條約啦，重建第3個聖殿啦，即係第3次重建聖殿啦，全部呢一啲都係直情同7年大災難息息相關。咁所以好明顯呢，就以佢嘅 angle 所睇呢，我哋唔單止活喺呢一代呢，一定係不見死亡，而並且被提嗰一代，講緊喺今年裏邊已經係向住呢個方向發生啦，已經係斷禮拜計、斷日計咁樣去發生。咁所以跟住後尾再提翻今年嘅9月21添，就係佢講緊喺嗰段時間會甚至可能簽署呢個敵基督好出名嘅但以理書所講嘅和平條約啊嘛。咁所以呢一個咪就係我哋一路都講被提嗰個日子咯。咁啊同佢而家講嘅方向都一致。就算佢呢個係咁美麗誤會啊，都係印證我哋。但係如果佢講呢個係真係到時應驗呢，我哋真係923被提都唔出奇。
以下係接續影片內容。
There's change coming. Great change. Great financial change is coming. And he warned me to pray into the 21st of September again. Praying about the 21st of September. Praying about the fall. Praying about the fourth quarter. Praying about acceleration of war. Praying about this peace agreement. The covenant of many with the Arab nations. I saw the Arab nations coming in alongside saying, hey, we agree to a peace agreement, a peace accord with Israel. A third temple can be built, but you have to give so much land. You have to give this stuff.
2025年7月18日 ，Brandon Biggs 牧師發佈咗另一則影片。今天的禱告極為震撼，即將發生的事絕對不要錯過。喺影片中，佢不單提到阿拉斯加嘅大地震，仲提及以色列於7月15日同埋16日對敍利亞發動嘅攻擊。7月16日星期三，以色列轟炸咗敍利亞國防部，同時對敍利亞南部發動多次空襲，聲稱此舉嘅目的係為咗保護以色列視為潛在盟友嘅少數民族德魯茨人。當日以色列導彈擊中敍利亞首都大馬士革嘅國防部，一名敍利亞女主播喺新聞報導期間從鏡頭前倉皇逃離。Brandon Biggs 牧師預言呢一場戰事將激怒中東其他阿拉伯國家，導致戰事進一步擴大，加速聖經描述嘅末日進程。以下係影片內容。
Hey, good morning, family. Praise the Lord. Thank you for joining me today. Well, we see all this stuff in the news. Yesterday was a wow, wasn't it? With the earthquake in Alaska, the major earthquake in Alaska. Then we had the attack on Damascus. And there's just so many things that the Lord has warned us about previously over the last 6 months or so. We're seeing it in the news. Now, this stuff seems to be stuff we've been praying over just like in June. And now we're seeing it. The last time I told you all, we should watch Syria. We should watch Syria. After Israel attacked Iran, I had such a caution about Syria. I said there's biological weapons that will be coming out of Syria in the days ahead to attack Israel. And so we haven't seen that yet, but Israel is already attacking Syria. What will be the outcome concerning this? I believe though there hasn't a potential to be an escalation of war coming out of Syria. I even talked about this on Kim Clement with Donna. I told you all to watch Syria. I saw biological weapons, and I've told you all that. So less than 48 hours later, we see that an attack from Israel against Damascus. Now, the Syrian president, the Syrian prime minister came out and spoke out against Israel for doing this. And I told everybody, when you see Syria get struck, the international community will come to the aid of Syria more than they will Iran. They will act like it's their brother being wounded, and they will actually, I saw Turkey being furious about this, and they started beating their war drums, and there was a ground invasion from Turkey and Syria in the days ahead. Will this be that time frame? I don't know. I just know I saw it coming, and I saw Damascus becoming what the Bible calls a ruinous heap. So that was part of what we saw yesterday. So I know there'll be an outcry if this keeps escalating from Hezbollah and all these things. Folks, the fig tree is ripe.
2025年7月19日 ，Brandon Biggs 牧師分享咗另一則預言影片，主向我展示了有人嘗試暗殺小特朗普，我們必須禱告。佢喺異象中睇見以色列對伊朗發動攻擊，導致伊朗多名高層軍官死亡，因此伊朗計劃對美國發動恐怖襲擊。由於無法成功暗殺特朗普，伊朗轉移計劃暗殺佢嘅兒子小特朗普。以下係影片內容。
We're looking at Ukraine, we're looking at Israel bomb Damascus, and all that's biblical. And now I see Israel, and there's the same thing over Israel, over Benjamin Netanyahu's house, and the decisions that are being made concerning the Antichrist and the end times. It's over Israel. These two are making strategic plans to push forth the end times. You hear me? These two men and the decisions they're making will push forth the end times and where we are as the church and as we are in the end times. Two strategic people and the decisions that are being made. I see the Wailing Wall. I see the Wailing Wall, and I see Benjamin in the Wailing Wall. I see this is about prayer. I see Iran. I see Iran. We'll touch what's important to him. We'll touch what's important to him. I see fallen people in Iran's army that are past and they're gone. And I see their faces on these signs, and they're turning pale white, and they're falling down. And they have army uniforms on, and they're burning. They're burning. There's fire on these men, and they're burning. They're in hell. They're burning. These men are in hell. I see this man, and I see Don Jr., and he looks like the man. And on the portrait, and he's turning white like that, and he's pulling down. It's like a portrait of that man in Iran, and then I see a portrait of Don Jr. And his face is turning white, and he's falling down, like it's pulling down. The color is pulling down. The white is pulling down. It looks like a ghost. He's pulling down on his picture. Just like it was, and then the fire started coming up around that man in that picture in Iran. I see fire on this picture coming up around him, but he's burnt. That picture's burning, and I see Don Jr. and he's outlined in this old wooden frame, but it's a beautiful wooden frame, like it would be in a palace, but it's like a portrait, like an oil-based painting. And on this oil-based painting, that's all wooden frame. And I see Don Jr. and his face is fading out, like you see on Back to the Future, when the picture fade.
3日後，2025年7月22日 ，Brandon Biggs 牧師再次發布預言影片， 回顧主向我們啟示的一些事。佢再次詳細分享關於小特朗普被暗殺嘅異象。喺異象中，佢睇見小特朗普喺一個類似宴會嘅場合中被恐怖分子暗殺身亡。佢呼籲所有基督徒為小特朗普嘅安全禱告。以下係影片內容。
Then I saw a Psalm Sumalani. I saw generals on paintings, oil-based paintings in frames that were really beautiful frames. But and I'll describe this as, if you remember the movie Back to the Future, as he was making the decision and he was singing on the stage and he was playing Johnny Be Good, and his brothers and sisters and what was on the photo was fading away. Remember how they were fading away? If you watched the movie, I know it's an old movie, but it was fading away, and this is the way these photos looked. I could see these Iranian generals, and they were fading away. And below this picture was fire, and it was consuming. And the Lord said, they are in hell. And I could see the fire burning these men, for they looked like spirits. They looked like ghosts. And as the fire was burning the pictures, they said, we want revenge. We want revenge. And I saw their generals in a line in the photos, and they were burning. And the photos, these people were fading away, and they were burning in hell. And the Lord showed me Don Jr. And he became a photo. And the fire was trying to eat him. And the Lord said, you must intercede for John Jr., for there's an attempt coming on his life. I want to say this again. You must intercede for Don Jr., for there is an attempt coming on his life. For they say, if we cannot get to Trump, we will take out his son, in revenge of what he did to our generals. So I saw a plan and a plot to shoot and assassinate John Jr., to take him out. I saw him in a tuxedo with a white shirt with black stud buttons. And it was like one of those pleated looking shirts, nice ones, tuxedo looking shirt. And he was dressed up for something nice. I saw President Kennedy, and the Lord said, the Kennedy curse. I saw the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the Lord said, pay attention to Cuba. And I could see Cuba again, and I could see missiles, and I could see things pointed at the United States of America. And the Lord showed me Kennedy with Donald Trump, and what's going to happen. A plan with the kids. But I want to tell you this ahead of time. The Lord said to say this before. What will you do as watchmen on this channel to intercede in behalf of Trump's children? What will we do to stop these plans? For this is an attempt. You must stop the plans. You must bring this before the people in prayer and cover his family in prayer. Cover his heart, for this is not God's will. This is an enemy attack. And the Lord said, you stop it. Because the Lord said, after you've seen all this is what he said at the end. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about this? I thought, well, we'll raise up a standard. We'll pray. When the enemy tries to come in, the Spirit of the Lord raises a standard against him. I believe that's why we're here, ladies and gentlemen, is to pray these things down. So I saw Don Jr. walking it was walking out. I don't know if it was I saw flashing lights, like photography, like the paparazzi, wherever he was. I could see the flashes of light on his face. It was like people were taking pictures of him. And all of a sudden, I saw these other people, like he was surrounded by other people and in this event. And all of a sudden, he was shot right here in his chest. And I saw a blood stain on that white shirt started to spread like a $50 size. And I kept hearing the word AK-47. I kept hearing it was like a loud noise, and he was gone. It was one shot. Then I went to President Trump, and I could see him weeping because of what had happened. And he was in so much stress and travail, he was bent over, travailing, weeping because of his son being taken out. So upset, like anybody would if their child was murdered. I saw him travailing and crying, and then I'm not gonna. When I get into, start seeing that vision again. I'm not gonna. I could see the funeral, and he could barely walk. He was so grieving. He was grieving so bad. He could barely walk. He was stumbling. They had to help him, hold him up, as he was travail, like in travail, weeping over his son's life being taken. I could see Barron. He was wearing a black suit with a white shirt with a black tie, similar to what he wore on the inauguration. And then I could see Melania, and she had a black hat on. She had a veil on her face that was black. You see through, like really like a net, but it was very classy looking. And it was over her face, and she had black sunglasses on. And she had a black dress on, and it had a little white on its side. And she had, and that's why I couldn't see her shoes. But she was trying to support Trump as he was walking to the funeral. And I could see the other children there, but it was mainly those three in the vision that were very clear. Ivanka was there. I could see Ivanka, and she was crying too, and she had a hat on. But the church looked like the church where they went before the inauguration. It looked like that church that they went to for prayer before. At the cathedral. It looked like that exact place. Because if they can't get to him, they try to get to what he loves the most. His grandkids, his kids. And I'm telling you folks, these people are wanting revenge for their leaders in Iran. There's an enemy within.